Well, it's Friday, and boy, are we not talking about a Western today. My friends, we are talking about Solomon Kane from 2009. You don't want to go anywhere, so grab your blackout coffee, and we'll be right back.
Previously on the Nerdy Ronin Network.
Happy Friday. That's right. At this moment, it is probably snowing. So please stay safe. But if you're looking for something to spend your time on, today we are talking about Solomon Kane. And this is a banger. So I hope you're all doing great. It's the end of the work week. The weekend's starting probably early for most of you. We're going to get right into it. Let's take a look at this. Solomon Kane, 2009, rated R, hour and 44 minutes. Not a bad time. It needed a little extra time. Generally I like hour and a half long movies, but this hour and 44 minutes is necessary. There's a lot of backstory and a lot of things needing to be shown and discussed here to build this world. All right. A ruthless mercenary renounces violence after learning his soul is bound for hell. When a young girl is kidnapped and her family slain by a sorcerer's murderous cult, he is forced to fight and seek his redemption, slaying evil. Directed by M.J. Bassett, written by M.J. Bassett, based on stories by Robert E. Howard. We'll talk about him again in a minute. Starring James Purefoy, Max von Sydow, Rachel Hurd Wood, and many others. Let's go. So first things first, Robert E. Howard is the author that created Conan the Barbarian and got extremely famous for doing so. But prior to that, he also wrote the stories of Solomon Kane. I think there's 8 or 9 of them, maybe. I have not read them or listened to them yet. I do have them in my Audible library because you can get them all in one book. It's like a volume of all the Solomon Kane stories. And I'm rather excited because this movie was on point and has a lot in common with the Western Forsaken that we talked about on Wednesday. And now you may say, well, how is that possible? This is not a Western. Well, for all intents and purposes, it kind of is. And I say that because this is a bad, bad man. This is a man that slaughters, murders, rapes, kills. He's a bad dude. And at one point, evil appears and Satan is claiming his soul because he's so evil. And he takes a run. He runs off. He's like, no, you can't have it. And he forsakes violence at that point. Like, this guy he had no fear. But he lays down his sword, he lays down his guns, his weapons, and decides to go on a path of peace to try to absolve himself, maybe be a better man and live in peace. And he lives in a monastery for quite a while, gives all his money away to the church. And at some point, the church is like, hey, you gotta go, fella. And so he takes off wandering. And he meets people on the road, this family, and they impress upon him like they are good people, just good people, not bad people. But at some point, evil has appeared. Evil is overtaking the world, and this family gets attacked. and quite a few of them die, and one of them, the young daughter, gets kidnapped by the evil people, which causes Solomon to be stuck with a quandary. But after a few moments of thought and him trying to figure it out, he decides that if his soul is damned to hell by picking up his weapons and trying to save and rescue this young girl, then it's a price worth paying. Now, just so we're all clear here, the girl's father, before passing away, says, "If you rescue my daughter, surely, God will save your soul from damnation." Now, little side note here, as a believer, that's not how that works. But in this movie, and as the way this story is told, hey, okay, maybe so, but completely inaccurate with the Christian belief system. You can't earn your place in heaven. You can't earn a clean soul, right? There's nothing you can do for one. It's given freely. You just have to accept it. But anyway, neither here nor there. Not everybody believes the way I do, but just a little notice that Hollywood is confused as usual about what Christianity means and how you earn salvation. But anyway, so Solomon grabs his weapons and once again takes up the violent path and starts slaughtering evil. And in this process of trying to find this young girl and rescue her, he finds that all the evil is coming from the castle he grew up in. Now, I'm not going to give you all the backstory of how he gets to where he is and, how he became who he is. But there's a lot of background and information necessary at this point so you know where Solomon Kane, who his father is, and how he got to where he got. And it's all shown in the movie. That's the extra 15 minutes. And it's necessary. Because this is not just necessarily a simple story. It's kind of complex. There's a lot of things going on. But it turns out that evil is coming from his home. A home he hasn't been at or been to in years and years and years. So this whole movie is, for the most part, is his quest to rescue this young girl and in happenstance save his soul from damnation because Satan wants it, because he was such an evil person. And I got to tell you, I was right there with it. Like, watching this movie, I really enjoyed it. And the story is well done. The characters are well done. Solomon Kane, James Purefoy plays Solomon Kane great. I enjoyed the character. And the ending for this movie, it fits in this world and makes perfect sense. It would have been interesting to see several of these, like a trilogy of these, the story of Solomon Kane and the adventures that he was on. But one's what you got, and it's worth watching. Now, whether the books are that good or not, I don't know. I don't know yet. Were the stories, are they well done? I don't know. Funnily enough, when I put the book of stories in my library on Audible, a lot of the comments were like outdated, blah, 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 SJW, blah, blah, blah. Not that the books were full of SJW stuff, but SJWs were whining because these were written years and years and years ago. Like, way back, like 100 years ago, or long time ago. And people are complaining because it doesn't keep up with our standard of SJW bullcrap today. So who knows? I'm going to assume that means they're great. But there you have it. This week is done. That's our last review for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've never seen this, it's on all the the free streaming services. It's, you got to watch commercials. It's ads supported. Well worth your time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Squeaky thought it was quite good as well. So, all right, y'all be safe this weekend. We'll be back on Monday. For Michael, the microphone, Bob, squeaky chair in the back, and this big fat nerd, we will see you then.